Hello, everyone, and welcome to our live panel today entitled Entrepreneurship in Times of Crisis. My name is Charbel Boumosleh. I'm an Associate Professor of Mechanical Engineering. My role in ASME is I am the Student Section Coordinator for the Middle East and Africa, and I'm also the Chair of the Student Section Enterprise Committee. It's my pleasure to welcome our speaker today, Mr. Ziad Shalala and Mr. Khalil Arai. They will be talking to us about their experience in starting their own company a couple of years ago, I believe, or maybe it's younger than that. They will be sharing with us some tips, hopefully, of how to start or how to have a successful company, how they decided to start their own company, what are the difficulties they faced, and what are the benefits and how successful is their experience with starting their own company. The way our session today is going to go is they will be speaking for about their presentation should last for about 20 minutes, during which if anyone has any question, please do use the Q&A section. You can post your questions there, and after they're done presenting, they will be I will be going through the questions with our speakers, and they will be answering all of your questions, hopefully, during the remaining time of our session today. So without further ado, I would like to give the floor to Ziad and Khalil to start their presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Shalber, for introducing us. And quickly, again, my name is Ziad Shalala. I'm the co-founder of Spaxel. And next to me is my partner, Khalil Arai.
Hello, everyone.
We will be talking about our experience in entrepreneurship during the times of crisis, where we will share our story as well as a few tips for all early career engineers. So we hope you enjoy it. So we will start with the background of each and every one of us. So in 2014, this is when it all started. I always knew I wanted to study engineering, as I was always interested in how things work. I used to tear down electronics and appliances at home, and whenever anything breaks, I always did my best to fix it, and it usually worked. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to study mechanical or electrical engineering, but then I decided to enroll in the electrical and computer engineering program offered at the American University of Beirut, since it focuses more on the software side, which I was interested in. And that's where it all began. And then in 2017, as semesters passed, I started feeling that I needed a hands-on experience in the field. We were heading into the intersemestrial break, and I did not want to spend those 40 days at home. I really wanted to make the most out of it, so I applied for an internship at a car dealership in Beirut. It was the BMW dealership, and my job was in the maintenance garage. I always dreamt about working at a German automotive company, and I had a passion for BMW since I was a kid. And that's how I decided to proceed with this opportunity. I talked to my manager, who was really satisfied with my performance at my internship, and I wanted to see if he had any connections or knowledge with anyone in BMW in Germany. And it turned out that they were looking for interns, and he really pushed me to apply, and I did. And I got accepted at the Logistic Robotics department in Munich. I got in contact with Khalil, who was already there. A big shout out to Khalil for giving me tips to avoid all the troubles he went through with all the formal work and paperwork, and it went well. In 2018, I finished my internship and I went back home to finish my last year and graduate. I made sure to put my supervisors at BMW in contact with my doctors at AUB, and this led to a collaboration between AUB and BMW Robotics department, which opened the door to so many other students to do their internship, masters, PhDs, and even get hired there. In 2019, I had two options after I graduated. One was to pursue a PhD in robotics, and the other one was a plan that we were discussing back in 2017, which was to found a startup. And since I'm a risk taker by heart, I could not miss this opportunity. And that's how Spexel was founded. We wanted to start something new. The idea was a company that provides robot prototypes that are fully customized to the client's needs and are as close as possible to the serious solution. I was in charge of running and managing Spexel at its early stages. And here we are today in 2020, building new technologies to interesting clients. We are growing exponentially and always thinking of expanding the range of our products and services to other countries as well to provide our clients with better services and innovation.
So, thank you, Ziad, for the shout out. I'm blushing. So, hello again, everyone. My name is Khalil El Rai, and I'll be sharing a brief overview of my experience in the past 7 years. So, first of all, in 2013, I started pursuing a bachelor's degree of engineering in mechanical engineering at Notre Dame University. And back then, I really enrolled for the diversity of the mechanical engineering program. So as most mechanical engineers with us today know that mechanical engineering is one of the most diverse programs, spanning mainly automotive companies to aerospace companies to simulation to really anything. So it's really diverse, it got my attention. And back then I had no clear view about my future career or what was waiting me ahead. In 2017, during my university years, I started thinking outside the box and seeking to be one step ahead. Between 2013 and 2017, I did many voluntary internships and undergrad research from year one. In 2017, I was supposed to do my mandatory internship, which was part of my curriculum. And I applied to several international companies back then, among which is BMW in Germany. I got in contact with the department leader at BMW, and I knew that a new logistics robotics department was established. He forwarded my CV, and following an interview, I got accepted for a 6-month internship that was life-changing, and I was the first Lebanese student in that department. A month later, as Ziad mentioned, he started his internship in the same department, and that's where we met. Now, in 2018, when I came back from Germany, I initiated the contact between the department I was in and my university, which led to signing a memorandum of understanding, an MOU, between them, allowing students to go to Germany, do their internship, and pursue their dreams, mainly getting hired or getting PhDs. And then that year, I got accepted in a PhD in biomedical engineering at the American University of Beirut, and I enrolled in the program. But it was only after 2 weeks that I felt that I didn't belong in this field, and I was not satisfied, so simply I dropped out. In 2019, I got accepted for another PhD in numerical simulations, since doing PhD was one of my main goals and was really a high achiever in university. Actually, Dr. Muslih knows he was one of my doctors and advisors at NDU. So I was always planning to do a PhD. So I got accepted for another PhD in numerical simulations in France. But in the meantime, Ziad and I started discussing something that we both thought of following our internship at BMW, which was founding a startup. In spring 2019, we founded Spexel and started working on several robotics projects. And in summer 2019, I had to leave to France to start my PhD, and I had to continue my tasks at Spexel remotely. Now this year in 2020, Spexel was growing, and it required more focus and effort. And I felt that really the PhD and the academic world was not my place. So in February 2020, I dropped out of my second PhD program and decided to dedicate all my time and effort to make our dream happen. So after this brief timeline, Ziad and I will go now through a really brief also introduction about Spexel, what we do, and our timeline. Ziad, the floor is yours.
So, the start. It all started with us, with end a goal. We wanted to have an impact on the robotic world. We started our first projects locally with several plants, warehouses. We provided technologies that were not very common in Lebanon and started building our reputation as an advanced robotics solution provider. We focused on providing complete systems, starting from the process design all the way to the commissioning of the robots in the plants. And we do the design of the mechanical parts, and we also develop our own softwares from scratch that include AI, and a complete solution would be handed over to the plants for testing and commissioning. The bumps that we faced, so many bumps, it sometimes felt like we wanted to give up. When we first started, along with all the hardships that any new company faces, we had a huge economic crisis in Lebanon and a revolution that started when we were trying to get Spexer running. This was really bad. These were really bad times to start a company, and they affected us not on the projects or on the results, but more on the motivation of our team. And we needed to keep them motivated and to go through this phase with the best results that we can get. And we actually succeeded in doing that. We tried to isolate ourselves from whatever was going on around us. We kept focus, we kept our motivation high, and we tried to spread positiveness to each and everyone in Spexer.
So now today we are working on really interesting projects spanning robotics, spanning the robotics world, from robot arms to linear axis robots to even pneumatic systems and even machine learning and computer vision applications. And we have an amazing team. Some of the team members are with us today. A big shout out to them, as we noticed they are watching. We have a really motivated team that needs to work on high edge and leading edge technology. And from our innovative products, we try to make our clients happy. And we need to mention that one of our clients is BMW. And also a big shout out to the department that we were working in, that we did our internship in, and for really believing in us and really believing in our work. And even though the COVID-19 pandemic happened to the world, as Ziad mentioned, we tried to stay as motivated as possible. We continued working despite the pandemic. We even supplied one of the hospitals in Lebanon with a mobile telepresence robot to decrease the contact between the medical staff and the patients. And it was also a successful project with really also leading edge technology. And our vision is to revolutionize key parts in the logistics world. So people mainly now see robotics as, okay, a bionic robot or a robotic arm or whatever. What we really try to do is to give a complete package to our clients, spanning robotics consultancy, logistics consultancy, and really, if you don't need a really huge robot, we tell you that you do not need it. So mainly we try to give you the optimal solution that suits your case. And our goal is now to expand globally with and aiming to open new branches in Europe and maybe all around the world in the next couple of years. So after this brief introduction, we will go through some success tips that Ziad and I will give you, hoping that they will be useful for you. And after that, we will go through a question and answer if you have a session, if you have any question for us. So we will start with Ziad now.
So the first tip for today is take it, then deal with it. You should never underestimate an opportunity. It might feel that it's not the ultimate thing that you had in mind, but you never know where it will lead. And mainly this is what happened with my internship, first internship I had. I never really did or get an experience in software or car design, but it was the link to what was going to happen next. I made the most out of it and I learned a lot, especially in the discipline and work ethics part. When you are facing an opportunity, just think of how to do it and do not think of the if. Believe in yourself and remember that Great results are cooked under pressure. If you believe in yourself and your goals, you just jump straight into the risk and you will be able to make it. That's the recipe. You get out of your comfort zone and push your limits. The second tip for today is now is the right time. If you believe in your goal and you're still not working towards it, then you are wasting your time. Every minute counts, and every move should ultimately be another step towards your goal. Every time is the right time, even during crisis. You definitely heard that most companies emerged from a crisis. Always remember that this is a huge world with a lot of people. You are never the only one thinking about your idea. If you do not push yourself to realize it today, then tomorrow might be too late. The third tip is we instead of me. And this is a key point. You should find yourself a great team. I cannot emphasize more on this. This is one of the most important ingredients for a startup success. Always make sure you have a great team and always make sure this team is really motivated. And do not keep anyone who drags the team down. Learn to delegate the tasks. We have a saying in Lebanon that says, if you need bread, go to the bakery. So it's just a translation, but what it means is that always delegate the tasks to the right people. And do not waste your time trying to learn everything. There is no such thing as expert in everything. You will only be scratching the surface of each topic. So focus on what you excel at and dig deeper into that topic because knowledge has no limits. Now Khalil is going to continue with his 3 tips. So Khalil.
Hello again. I hope you're not getting bored by now. So I'll be sharing 3 of the tips that I see are beneficial for any early career engineer looking to succeed, not only open a startup looking to succeed. So it's 100 or 0, you have nothing in between. So in any decision, in any opportunity, in times of crisis, fear is present. It's you either stay afraid and stagnant or make it your best friend and get used to it. When we were founding Spaxel, we knew and still know the risks that comes with it. But we decided that the cost of not trying will be much more than the fear illusion. And managing your fear will result in making bold decisions. Life is all about decisions. You decide to succeed or you decide to fail. As simple as that. As you noticed in my timeline, I made a big decision of entirely shifting my career. And I know that it won't be the last. Because plan B is the worst thing in the road to success. Let go of your safety net and make it happen. And as you make decisions, you move out of your comfort zone and start looking back to where you were and think, did I make the right choice? Well, it's useless. Simply useless question. Because you are here now, just deal with it and keep moving forward. As for the tip number 2, which I think is one of the most important tips in life, maybe, you are what you think. So ideas come naturally. If you truly believe in your success, in your business success, in your startup idea, do not force your business idea to come. Just keep your eyes open for opportunities, and your ideas shall reveal themselves. In every aspect in life, in everything you see around you is an idea, is a new opportunity. So do not try to force it. And when you think about success, you attract it. Now imagine waking up in the morning and thinking, what a bad day. Just trust me, it will be the worst day ever. But if you say this is a new day, a new opportunity, then you shall attract all the positive events and it will be a great day. Just like with events, you attract people that share your thoughts. A clear example is with Ziad and I. We both met randomly in Germany, though we were literally 15 minutes apart in Lebanon. And we shared the thought of success and opening a startup, and indeed, we are doing it. If you think about failure 24/7, you will only attract pessimist people. So see your close circle, your surrounding family and friends, and you shall know how you think. And thoughts are timeless. Your body is not. Your body gets tired, it has needs. Those needs affect your mind and drag you down to stay where you are. Live in your mind, not in your body. Your mind lives where your dreams are, and your body lives in reality. And reality always slows you down. And the final tip is it won't happen tomorrow. Patience is key to success. Patience lets you overcome your obstacles. With patience, we won our first tender after 9 months of waiting, and after the world was shut down due to the pandemic. And with patience, we shall reach our goals, and so will you. But patience comes at the cost of frustration. It is part of the game. We were frustrated with economic, financial, and political situation in Lebanon. We were frustrated with the world pandemic that led to the biggest economic recession since 1929. But we kept in mind that this is temporary. This is part of the process. We embraced it, and we did not make it a habit. Frustration is an essential ingredient to the sweet taste of success. Now, as a conclusion, we hope that you enjoyed our small chat, as we like to call it. It's not really a presentation or something that we are trying to tell you out of the blue. It's just a small chat between us, and just to give you some ideas of you opening a startup or chasing your dreams.
So, like everyone, we still have a lot to learn. Those are just the tips that we found out when we were trying to open Spaxel. We still have a lot to learn. We still have to see a lot of things and maybe gather more tips. But we just wanted to share with you whatever happened with us. And a special thanks to Dr. Boumosleh for introducing us and inviting us to this eFest career. We also would like to say that we do have some career opportunities at Spaxel that will be posted very soon on our website. We will have some internship opportunities as well as some job opportunities in the machine learning field, iOS development field, machine design fields. You can go to our website and see the openings that we will post there. And now for the question and answers, feel free to ask us anything and we will be ready to answer.
Thank you, Ziad. Thank you, Khalil, for the excellent presentation. I enjoyed every single minute of it. And it was an honor listening to you, especially to Khalil. Before I ask you, I have a couple of questions for you. I would like to remind everyone who's attending this panel that if you have any questions, please do type them in the Q&A section and we will go over them one by one. We still have plenty of time. We have about 15 minutes for questions, so please do ask your questions and I'll be passing them to our presenters. My first question is to Khalil. You mentioned that you tried or you were a PhD student a couple of times.
Yep.
And, excuse me?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so, and I remember having a long discussion with you about your second attempt, second PhD attempt, if I may call it. And you told me back then that, if I remember correctly, you didn't, you felt that you were wasting time because you had to travel between France and Lebanon so that you can make sure you're on track with your PhD work, and then your company was growing in Lebanon and you wanted to go back and work on improving your company. Now, this travel was if I remember correctly, this was the issue. Now with the pandemic, well, with everything done virtually, I mean, literally online. If you still were a PhD student right now, would you keep going and still work on your company, or this was not the issue? You feel like you wanted to put 100% of your time in your company?
Well, actually, I think that, as you mentioned, I want to put 100% effort in it. It's not about the distance, it's not about the traveling, it's mainly about the focus. So I will give a simple example. So if, for example, we were discussing any project or any design, or we were coming with any solution, you will always have in mind a burden that you have another project going on that's completely different from your work at Spaxel. You have another burden that you need to hand-on projects. You have deadlines to follow. You have other commitments to have. And as in my nature, as you know me, I'm a perfectionist. So I cannot just give 50% here and 50% here. I will always need to give the best in everywhere I am. So I decided finally that, okay, I do not belong there. I belong in my company, and I belong next to Ziad, as to say also, and trying to share the burden with him and trying to make our dream come true. So yeah, even with the pandemic, even with everything going digital, it's not only about the distance, it's about a commitment, and it's about believing in what you're doing and being satisfied where you are.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you on one very important thing is I know you how perfect you like your work to be, and I would like to to tell everyone that Khalil is one of the few, my former students, he was one of the few who were able to get an A+ on the course without needing a raise. So I would give you an A+ on the work you have done together with Ziad. A question for both of you. A question for both of you. Ziad, you come from, you studied electrical engineering. Khalil studied mechanical engineering. Now, I'm sure that at some point during the process of building your company, you reached a point where you probably didn't agree on one decision or one problem. So can you talk us through, if you have ever faced this, through the conflict resolution you had to go through to make sure that the right decision was taken, even though you did not agree on the same decision for some of the problem you have faced?
Yeah, so this happened, but a few times, because usually our thoughts are synchronized, and we felt this synchronization since we were back in Germany, and mainly this is why we really like to start something together, because we feel that we can do it. And we always try to hold discussions about any topic, so we never try to impose our thoughts. It's just trying to discuss the idea. And we always keep in mind that each one of us wants the best for Spaxel. So we both have the intention of giving the best and thinking about the best of Spaxel. So this is always in our mind. And of course, if it's a design or mechanical topic, of course, like Khalil is more of an expert in that field. If it's an electrical or software topic, then I'm more of an expert in there, but we always try to share the ideas. And Khalil always tries to teach me some mechanical engineering courses, and I do the same with him. So we never really faced a problem with not being able to get a decision just because we are not agreeing on it. So it's more of a discussion, and then we choose the best.
So mainly one small thing is that I'll add on what Ziad said, is that mainly if you reach that end, just give it some time. So sleep on it. Just count to 10 and then cool down, as to say, and then you will always reach a solution. There is always a solution. Keep that in mind. So that's what we kept in mind. And yeah, but something good is that we are always synchronized. So not many problems do arise between us.
Okay, great. So I'd like to thank you again. It was a great presentation, and congratulations on a job very well done. And I wish you the best in the future. Now I'm going to go through some of the questions we have from our attendees. I'm going to start with the first one from an anonymous attendee. The question is, today, what makes Spaxel stand out versus competitors?
Okay, so there are not many companies that offer prototypes, like robot prototypes, that are as near as the serial product as possible. So usually if you go to a company and you want to ask them to give you a solution, they're going to give you like the engineering behind it. What we do is that we try to include as many features and options, and we try to think of new technologies to make this solution stand out. So if you come to Spaxel and ask for a solution. We're going to be providing a complete solution from scratch. We're going to even tell you what is the optimal design that you need so that the solution is not over-engineered. So we can guide you through the choice of the robot itself, and then we can start designing it based on your needs. And we also add our special touch, for example. So this is actually what we provide.
And an additional thing is that we try to manufacture or produce prototypes as close to the serial version as possible. So instead of having a first prototype and in the next year, a second, and the year after, a third, we just do a shortcut to this time and just have a prototype that is really very close, optimal, and very close to the end product. So these are, I think, the points that make us stand in front of our competitors.
Okay, thank you. Another question from an anonymous attendee. What would be one piece of advice that you would give to a new starter in any field?
Any field related to engineering.
Yeah, that was the question, any field.
Well, I think that everyone should be like satisfied where he is. So I'm not speaking about, of course, goals because they are endless, but they should be convinced that this is the right track they are in. So if they feel 1% that they do not belong where they are only for the money or only for the position or only for the social status or for whichever reason, their goals come first. Their success comes first. So just let them chase their dreams and just never stay where they are for any reason. So they should be convinced that where they are is really the right track for them.
Thank you. Another question. How much thinking did it take you to decide your second PhD dropout? And do you regret it?
Well, it may, like, since day one, and you know that the dropout idea was in my mind. So I was always thinking about it since day one, because due to the circumstances, to the timeline, I enrolled in this PhD before we founded Spexel. So I just felt that I have had a commitment that, okay, I don't like to drop out that easily. But the actual decision took me a month to cook, as to say, and then I came out with the decision in February. And to be honest, okay, maybe I sometimes think, okay, Lebanon has an economic crisis. I sometimes feel a frustration, as I mentioned in my tip, but I'm not making it a habit. I don't just say, okay, what am I doing? I'm fully convinced in what I'm doing in Spexel. I'm following my dreams. And an important thing is that even for whichever reason, Spexel does not work or something, I will definitely not regret it, because one, it was my decision. Two, I was chasing my dreams. So that's it.
Okay. Well, I always thought you would become a professor like myself, but I guess you were smarter than me. So good decision, I guess. Okay, another question from Elisa Hilal. Did the explosion affect you? If yes, I'm sorry, but how did you go on and continue further afterwards?
Well, it's an interesting story. It was at around 6, so the team left, and it was me and Khalil in the office, because we usually never leave before 9 or 10 sometimes. So we were at the office, and we have a lot of windows and glass. We felt that the building was moving. We thought it was an earthquake, and then we started hearing loud noises. So I ran to the door to see what's going on, and then the explosion, like the wave shock, arrived, and it threw me inside. I couldn't understand what's going on. I started shouting for Khalil just to run inside, and glass broke, and some of the roof fell to the floor. And it took us around half an hour to just understand what happened and to make sure that everyone was all right. But yeah, we went over it fairly quickly. We did the cleanup, we fixed the windows, and we gave ourselves like 2 days just to settle down. And then we were back at our headquarters and just continuing the work. We tried to move on as fast as possible.
So nothing will stop you. Great.
No.
Not even an explosion.
No.
Okay, great.
Our robot is explosion proof, so that was a good thing.
Great. A new question from Elizabeth Deeb. Where are you all looking to expand to first?
So first, since we started working with local companies, and then our next clients were in Germany. So our next move will be in like opening headquarters in Germany. And that's also mainly because we need to offer also maintenance plans for our robots. So it's much easier to be located there. But also we're gonna keep Spaxel in Lebanon as well. So they will operate together synchronized.
Yeah, and I think the next country will be the USA, since we also have some clients there. So to which we need to also offer maintenance plans and stuff like that. So I think first comes Germany, second comes the USA.
Great. So I still have 3 questions and 2 minutes to go. So if you could give me brief answers to these 3 questions so we can finish on time. Another question from Elisa Hilal. Also, do you expect mechanical engineering students at Spexel for a winter internship?
Well, yes, definitely. We really are looking for motivated mechanical engineers or engineers from any field. Elisa, I think you should stay posted on our social media accounts. And you can see here in the slide, www.spaxel.com/jobs. You can see our internship opportunities and our career opportunities. And you can send an email to info@spaxel.com with your CV and a recommendation letter and the field in which you'd like to do your internship, and we will reply to you.
Thank you. A question from Michelle Kouairi. What do you think about the improvement in the robotics field in Lebanon in bioengineering? A couple of companies are starting the manufacturing process for prosthetic and bionic limbs, and this start is similar to the start of your company. What do you think we could do in order to improve this field and this start?
Well, mainly I think the bionics and this field is a bit different from what we do because we are more focused on the industry and on logistics. But a big kudos for these for the guys. We always encourage any progress and enhancements in the robotics field. I think what they should do is they should seek any client abroad to which they can market their idea or any investment or to seek any opportunity and not stay afraid and telling themselves, okay, we are Lebanese, we have no exposure. Just go and go to the market and just prove yourself.
Thank you. Last question from my friend Anish B. Soman. What advice do you have for early career engineers in a startup company in the present situation?
So do you mean early career engineers who wants to start a startup or
so early career engineers mean an ASME naming convention is the after graduation, fresh graduates, if you want.
Okay, so the advice is that when you first graduate, the first goal should be to improve yourself. So do not get lured by money or the like titles or whatever. Make sure you follow a path that will make you grow, that will make you learn more, and that's gonna like push your limits. Do not be afraid of taking the risk. You are still young. You can do whatever you want. Obviously, when we say risk, it needs to be calculated, like not just any kind of risk. You still need to have some calculations to your risk, and do not be afraid to try something new, something that will make you grow in your field.
And quickly, just 2 pieces of advice. first, Ziad mentioned it in his tip, is that try to be an expert in one field. Just don't try to learn everything. There is no expert in everything. Just try to be an expert in one field. And during the pandemic, just specifically due to the pandemic, just don't stay home, watch Netflix or whatever. Just work on your self-improvement and work towards your expertise. So don't get demotivated. That's the main point.
Okay, so these were all the questions. Any final words from you guys before we call it a day? Any final advices for everyone?
I guess we gave everything we've been through already.
Okay.
We still have a lot to learn. That's a really main point. But we hope that we gave the youth and early career engineers just a glimpse of hope in these times.
And if anyone needs any additional advice or has any questions, you can feel free just to send us a mail. We'll be glad to discuss this topic with anyone.
Okay, so I would like to thank you, Ziad and Khalil, for an excellent presentation. I really enjoyed it. I would like to also thank everyone in attendance. A final question just popped out from Anish. He was saying he would love to connect with you on LinkedIn. So if you would like to share some contact information through the chat, box, that would be great. Or everyone in attendance, you could always visit their website, and I'm sure you can find their contact informations there. Thanks again, Ziad, Khalil, everyone, and good luck for your future. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.